Is this YouTube editing style right for you? Creators are slowly ditching the fast-paced, high-engaging content that you can see in the likes of Mr. Beast, Nate Wealth, and other faceless channels out there, and they're slowly adopting to this slow-paced, story-driven editing, as you can see from Life of Riza and Natalie Lynn. And with YouTube changing, should you also change? From my experience in YouTube, I've tried both styles of editing, and I'm gonna tell you later which one I would prefer and which style that you should adopt for your next video. The current state of YouTube right now is that there are a lot of videos that kind of looks like Mr. Beast video, which is these fast-paced, high-energy, high-engaging content. And the purpose of this editing is to keep people watching, and some creators even call it retention editing. And the reason this works is because it keeps your eyes moving. This is just like what happened with Reels back in 2020 and 2021, where Instagram wanted to compete with TikTok and they wanted to push out more videos such as Reels to the audience, and they made creators basically, if they want to grow in Instagram, you have to post Reels. And for photographers, what they ended up doing is that they would post their photos as Reels and they use retention editing. And what usually happens is that they would post their camera and then they would post their photos after, but the photos are like 0.1 to 0.5 seconds long that you can barely even see the photo. But it worked for the most part because most people kept watching. Now for YouTube, this is being used as well by the likes of Mr. Beast, Nate Wealth, and as well as other faceless channels out there. And the purpose of this is once again to keep your eyes moving and keep you engaged on the content. And retention editing often appeals to younger audiences. And lately, I've been seeing YouTubers who have been blowing up without using this kind of editing. The first person I saw it on is on Life of Riza, and then the other one is at Natalie Lynn. And their content is usually slow-paced and story-driven. Now, to be clear, I don't think they became popular on YouTube because of their editing style, but because they are great storytellers. At the same time, there has been a rise of slow-paced YouTube content out there, and it makes you question that, should I adopt this kind of editing? Now, you might be wondering, if you do adopt it, what's the benefit of adopting this slow-paced editing? And I can give you 3 reasons, and that the number one is that now your content becomes digestible. When the content is too fast, there isn't any time at all to digest the content that you produced out there. Just like what happened with Instagram Reels, with all this fast-paced photos that are being used in Reels. The way I see it is like this. It's like driving in a rush hour and you're like rushing to get home in a rush hour. If you really think about it, you don't actually save a lot of time when you do that. You probably save maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And when you get home, you just ended up being more tired instead of just taking your time during the rush hour. That's kind of how I feel with fast editing and retention editing in these videos. Every time I watch Mr. Beast's video, of course I am entertained, obviously, but after that, I feel like I'm being rushed to watch something and I'm tired after. But with the slow-paced editing, now your content's a lot more digestible. People can now see what you're really trying to say in your video instead of being focused on the graphics or the fast-paced cuts. And this also leads to my second point. But before we go to the rest of the video, if you're interested in landing a job in cybersecurity, or if you feel like your experience is holding you back from getting the career that you want, then I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, Southern New Hampshire University, or SNHU. SNHU is one of the largest accredited nonprofit online degree offerings in the nation, and I want to tell you about their cybersecurity degree. In this program, you'll know how to protect your organization's data, you'll know about network security and application security. And with the rising growth in the internet, there's going to be a rising growth in cyber attacks as well. SNHU has 6 to 8 week terms that start throughout the year, and they have 24/7 online accessibility, so you can attend class whenever it's convenient for you. What's also great about SNHU is that they're radically affordable. Their online tuition rates is one of the lowest in the nation. So go to snhu.edu/tumateocs, and the link is also in the description below, where you can find free information about the bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. When you press that free information, a real person will hop on a call and discuss how the program will benefit you personally. So go to snhu.edu/tumateocs, and the link is also in the description below to get free information about the bachelor's degree in cybersecurity. Thank you SNHU for sponsoring this video. Now let's go back to the video. Second point, slow-paced editing allows for raw emotion and connection to your audience. Treat YouTube as if you're spending time with someone, and to trust someone, you need to spend time with them. And I think that's why there have been a increase as well of video podcasts, is because in these podcast or video podcast, it allows for raw emotion and connection. It allows you to be part of the conversation they're having with. And overall, you get to know the people who are speaking in these video podcasts. And in my opinion, sometimes when it comes to fast edits or massive cuts that you're doing with your editing, you can't really connect that well with your audience. Obviously, it looks cool, it looks very entertaining, but if your video is all about making connection with your audience, I think you should go with the slow-paced editing. And with the slow-paced editing, it gives you more time to refine your content, to redo some shots if you need to, just so to make your message be clear to your audience. Me personally, I tried the fast-paced editing in this video right here, or in here. I'm going to put it on the cards up top, and it took me such a long time to edit those that I was so tired after editing them, and I didn't have time to refine it or redo some reshoots, because if you are just doing YouTube as a part-time or as a hobby, you don't have a lot of time for your shoots and your edit, and you're just trying to make it work. Now, I understand that you can pay somebody else to do this, but once again, time and money are something that is scarce when it comes to those who are just doing this part-time, and you need to spend your time and money wisely. And so for me, fast-paced editing took a long time, and it's not something that I can do right now. So, which editing style that you should adopt for your next video? But before I tell you which editing style to adopt, there are 3 things to keep in mind. Number 1, it all depends on your audience. So I'm just saying that you need to know who your audience are. I'm gonna go back to that Instagram reel analogy. I myself also did those fast edits, retention editing of my photos in Instagram reels. And I did them for a while. I fell into the trap of you will only grow if you posted reels. But every time I post a photo, once in a while, those generated more engagement, more views, and more reaction to people, basically. So the reels didn't really work for me, and my audience actually preferred the picture posts rather than the reels. So my suggestion is know your audience first and know what they prefer. Second consideration or tip to keep in mind is that adopt an editing style that'll push you to become a better creator. If you're doing YouTube, keep in mind that maybe you're not meant to do YouTube. Maybe you do like is editing, and maybe you should become a video editor. Fast-paced editing may benefit you to push your creativity to the next level, but at the same time, slow-paced editing could also do that by focusing more on the story and emotion rather than the massive cuts. And third consideration is that adapt an editing style that'll make an impact in someone's life. Editing is not the means to the end. Keep in mind that your YouTube videos are not great because you made great edits. Your YouTube videos are great because they make a great impact in someone's life. So instead of focusing on the edit, focus on the topic that you want to make or the story that you want to make. I think we have the wrong focus sometimes. We need to focus on making an impact in someone's life instead of making the best edit. And this is what I wanted to say in this video, is that doesn't matter which editing style that you adapt, make sure that you make an impact in someone's life with your videos. The reason why Mr. Beast, Nate Wealth, Life of Riza, Natalie Lynn, they're all blowing up on YouTube, and why they're successful, it is not because they made the great edits in their videos. The reason why Mr. Beast, Nate Wealth, Life of Riza, and Natalie Lynn are blowing up on YouTube is not because of their edits, but because they're great entertainers, teachers, storytellers, filmmakers, and it's because they know how to make an impact in your life and in mine. So focus on creating content that impacts someone else's life today.